The title of this research is The Impact of Religious Discrimination in the Workplace. Racial discrimination happens all the time, and most of us are unaware of it. The most common place for this to happen is in the workplace. Now, people can be discriminated against because of their race, religion, or any other numerous things. Also, discrimination can occur during the job interview or even after you got the job. This paper will show the effects of religious discrimination and how it can be prevented. In addition, there are some very important laws that deal specifically with discrimination. The next slide is conceptual framework or the paradigm of the study. The input shows the different types of discrimination that can occur in the workplace, which are the direct discrimination, indirect discrimination, and the most serious part is when an employee are already experiencing harassment. The process of gathering information is through library method, which is the researcher use different books, magazine, and also through web browsing. The output includes the impact of religious discrimination experienced by the employee. Next is the statement of the problem. Statement of the problem 1. Is an employer liable for religious harassment? Yes, an employer is always liable for a supervisor's harassment if it results in a tangible employment action. However, if it does not, the employer may be able to avoid liability or limit damages by showing exercise reasonable care to prevent and correct promptly any harassing behavior. Statement of the problem 2. What is the scope of the Title VII Prohibition on Disparate Treatment based on Religion? Title VII's prohibition against disparate or different treatment based on religion generally functions like its prohibition against disparate treatment based on race, color, sex, or national origin. Disparate treatment violates the statute whether the difference is motivated by bias against or preference toward an applicant or employee due to his religious beliefs and practices. Second, employers may not refuse to recruit, hire, or promote individuals of a certain religion, impose stricter promotion requirements for persons of a certain religion, or impose more different work requirements on an employee because of that employee's religious beliefs or practices. Third, what are the effects of religious discrimination in the workplace? First is the employee morale. Discrimination has physically and emotional consequences on the workforce. Many employers see discrimination in terms of financial burdens, but it can have tremendous impacts on the physical and emotional health of employees. This is the truth of immediate employees affected, but it can have ripple effects on other people for days, weeks, and months. Often, discrimination is not an isolated event. The EEOC reports that employees in workplaces that have been the scene of discrimination experience anxiety, depression, and stress. The situation may lead employees to look elsewhere for work, adding to company costs for recruitment and training of new people. Second, reduced productivity. Discrimination in the workplace also results in reduced productivity. This happens for many reasons, including reduced morale. Employees who are discriminated against lose the desire and motivation to work, reports the EEOC, and these effects can be long-lasting. Next, absenteeism is common in work environment where discrimination is prevalent. Staff time off for depositions, conferences, and court proceedings can also result in reduced productivity. The company's reputation, even its sales, may be damaged when high-profile cases are reported in the news media. Lastly, what are the common methods of religious accommodation in the workplace? Under Title VII, an employer or other covered entity may use a variety of methods to provide reasonable accommodation to its employees. Some of the most common methods are scheduling changes, voluntary substitutes, and shift swaps. Next, changing an employee's job task or providing a lateral transfer. Third, making an exception to dress and grooming rules. Fourth, use of the work facility for a religious observance. Next, accommodations relating to payment of union dues or agency fees. Last, accommodating prayer, proselytizing, and other forms of religious expression. Fourth slide are researchers' finding and conclusion. In the process of the study, the researchers have come to the proof that most individuals have been discriminated in terms of their age, sex, and all is according to their religion and beliefs. This discrimination affects people all over the world. People of all ethnicities and from all different life are influenced in some way by workplace discrimination. As you can see, the effects of religious discrimination in the workplace are employee morale and reduced productivity. Conclusion. The researcher find out that discrimination runs against the most fundamental values of a modern society. In fact, it is a threat to democracy, which is predicated on the idea of a society in which arbitrary hierarchies and preferences based on, for example, gender, ethnic origin, and wealth have been eliminated with a view to achieving equality. Democracy recognizes worth and equal rights of all, whereby equality prohibits discrimination, which is also the cornerstones of human rights. And finally, the last slide is the recommendation. In addition to the recommendation of a researcher in her presentation, in accommodating one's religious belief, an employer should not discriminate based upon one's religious belief. An employer should not make discriminatory rules, employment practices, or employment decisions that revolve around